Bose and Bimbo met at a party they both attended, and before long they became best friends. Bose was the only daughter of her parents and grew up as the last born with two older brothers. Bimbo, on the other hand, was an only child and was adored by her parents. Their friendship grew so strong that people often mistook them for sisters. Bose came from a wealthy family while Bimbo's family struggled financially. Despite this, Bimbo's parents did everything they could to ensure that she received a good education. Bimbo's father was an Uber driver, but he loved his daughter dearly. Bimbo would often visit Bose and they quickly realized they had a lot in common. They became inseparable. And Bimbo was happy to finally have a sister figure in her life. They shared their secrets and confided in each other. Bose, although she loved Bimbo, was not used to being treated kindly. Coming from a wealthy family, she often encountered people who wanted to take advantage of her. Bimbo, on the other hand, was kind and well behaved. Her parents saw her as a good influence on Bose. Bimbo was also intelligent and could hold a conversation. She was at the top of her class and was generally a nice person. Bose didn't like the attention Bimbo received from men. One day they went out to a party and Bimbo met a guy named Femi. Bimbo knew Femi was a bad boy, but she didn't want to be rude, so she started talking to him. Bose, who had her eye on Femi, became jealous and immediately interrupted their conversation. She wanted Femi to notice her, and he did. From that day on, Femi's attention shifted to Bose. Bimbo was hurt by her friend's action, but decided to let it go. Eventually, Bose and Femi started dating, and they were in love. They became an item and Bimbo was happy for them. But she had her reservations about Femi. He was known as the school bad boy, and he had been seen with many girls, including a baby mama. Bimbo warned her friend about Femi, but Bose didn't care. One day, Bimbo went to visit Bose and she met Bose's older brother, Lekon, who had just returned from the United States. It was love at first sight, and they fell for each other. Lekon's holiday was supposed to be for 2 weeks, but he ended up staying for a month. He stayed in touch with Bose every day, and they started a secret relationship. Bimbo didn't tell Bose about it because she didn't want to ruin their friendship. After 3 years of dating, Lekon proposed to Bimbo and she decided to tell Bose. She took her out to share the good news, but Bose's reaction was far from happy. She was furious and called Bimbo all sorts of names, accusing her of being a bad person for not telling or asking her before dating her brother. She even tried to spoil Bimbo's good image in front of her parents, but they didn't believe her. They had known Bimbo for a while and thought she would be perfect for their son, except from Bose. Leko and Bimbo got married and they moved into their home in Ikoyi. Bose would often visit and complain about Bimbo. She would stay in their home for weeks and treat Bimbo badly, calling her names and embarrassing her in front of others. Bimbo would just cry and let her be, not wanting to cause any further tension. Bose's jealousy towards Bimbo grew, and their once perfect friendship turned into a terrible one. Bose would often visit them and try to spoil Bimbo's happiness. She would complain about Bimbo to anyone who would listen, saying she used juju to marry her brother and that she was a poor girl trying to reap where she didn't sow. She would constantly abuse and frustrate Bimbo in her own home, but Bimbo would just cry and let her be. When Bimbo got pregnant, she avoided Bose at all costs. She didn't want to be stressed and would always stay in her room whenever her sister-in-law was around. Bose would even come to Bimbo's house with different girls, introducing them to her brother. She would encourage her friends to flirt with Lekon in Bimbo's house. And even though Lekon wanted her to stop, he also took advantage of the situation by sleeping with some of Bose's friends. Bimbo gave birth to two beautiful girls for Lekon and they had the perfect home. But Lekon desperately wanted a boy child. He wanted someone to play football with and hang out with like a buddy. His parents also wanted a grandson and would constantly remind Bimbo of this. So when Bimbo got pregnant for the third time, she prayed and was certain it was a boy. She even did a scan and the doctor confirmed it was a boy. Bimbo was ecstatic. She knew her husband would finally be happy. But when she went into labor, Lekan was by her side, ready to welcome his son into the world. However, to their disappointment, Bimbo gave birth to another girl. Lekan was upset. He left the hospital angry. Fed up with having a girl child, he started to keep late night and avoid Bimbo. He loved his daughter, but he just wanted a boy child so bad. So when Bosse suggested that he got out and find a boy child, he didn't think twice. Bosse was known for her connections and she promised to help Lekan find a suitable girl. And that's how Lekan met Folake. She was young, beautiful, and full of life. Lekan was instantly smitten with her and they soon began an affair. Folake became the love of his life and he couldn't imagine living without her. Folake fell pregnant. Lekan knew he had to take responsibility and bring Folake home to his parents. However, his parents were furious and strongly against this step. They couldn't understand why Lekan would want to take a second wife when he already had a loving wife, Bimbo. They made it clear that they would never support this decision. But Lekan was determined to make things work with Folake. He moved her to an apartment opposite his home so he could be with her whenever he wanted. Bosse was overjoyed by this development. She was the one who introduced Lekan to Folake and she felt proud of her matchmaking skills. Bimbo was heartbroken when she found out about Lekan's affair with Folake. She cried and begged Lekan to end things with her, but he remained adamant. Bimbo was too ashamed to tell anyone about her husband's infidelity, and she kept it to herself. Folake gave birth to a bouncing baby boy, and Lekan was over the moon. He finally had the son he always wanted. But things were not easy for Folake and Lekan. Lekan's family refused to accept Folake and they made life difficult for her. But Lekan stood by Folake and showered her with love and affection. Meanwhile, Bose got married to Femi with his three baby mamas. Femi constantly apologized for his past mistakes and Bose forgave him each time. After 10 years of dating, Femi finally married Bose. But things were not as perfect as they seemed. Femi continued to have affairs outside of their marriage, and Bose turned a blind eye to it. Bose fell pregnant and also started to have girls for Femi. She had four beautiful girls. Bose and Folake became close friends and their children attended the same school. They were often seen together at parties and social events. She couldn't help but feel guilty for what she had done to Bimbo. She regretted bringing Folake into Lekan's life and causing so much pain to Bimbo and her family, since she was also having girls. One day, Folake's son fell ill and was rushed to the hospital. Lekan was terrified and the doctors informed them that their son had a rare blood type and they needed a donor fast. Folake didn't hesitate to call the father of her son, who was not Lekan. Lekan was shocked and heartbroken. He couldn't believe that Folake had a son with someone else. Folake didn't care about Lekan's feelings. She just wanted her son to be well. She didn't even look at Lekan as he left the hospital in tears. That night, Lekan went home, feeling lost and alone. He looked at his daughter and realized how much they had grown. When did that happen? Bimbo could sense that something was wrong and she went to him, holding him for a long time. They made love that night, after so long of being distant. 9 months later, Bimbo gave birth to a son. Lekan was overjoyed and he realized that he had been blessed with three beautiful daughters and now a son. He was finally happy with his family. And he regretted all the pain he had caused Bimbo. Bimbo forgave Bose and they became close again. Bose apologized for everything she had done and Bimbo forgave her. They both realized that their love for their children was more important than their past mistakes. In the end, Lekan had a loving family with his four children. He had learned his lesson, was grateful for the love and forgiveness of his family. The end.